Hello and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. We are on the Clover YouTube channel as well as live on Amazon. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter, and we are going to look at some tools for our craft and sewing tool chest. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, Gidget. So glad you're here. Welcome. Nice to see you. Gidget on YouTube. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to show you 6 of the tools that we're going to go through. And hello, Alina, if that's you, our Clover moderator in the chat on YouTube. Let's go straight to the tools. That's why you're here, right? Let's take a look. We are going to go over one by one each of these tools. This is the hot ruler, some wonder pins, a marker, a seam ripper, and then a pin caddy and a 5-in-1 sliding gauge. We're going to look at each of these. Let us know in the chat whether you're on Amazon or YouTube. Do you have any of these tools? Are you using these tools? Are they in your tool chest? Which one are you most interested in? If you don't have it yet, let me know which one you are looking forward to learning more about. Hello, Michelle Newman. How are you? So glad you're here. Hello, Cindy. Welcome. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. I want to know, what is your favorite tool? Maybe you have one of these. Are they in your tool chest? Let us know in the chat which is your favorite. All right, let's see here. Let's start with the first one in the carousel on Amazon. If you are new to Amazon Live and you are watching on YouTube, there is a live component to Amazon where you can watch crafters and sewers and others share content, share the tools like I like to do, share the tools that we love on Amazon. So we are live on both platforms. The first one is this Clover magnetic pin caddy. How many of us have a gazillion pins? Do you have a lot of pins? I know I do. Okay, so you love this magnetic pin caddy. I do too. Let's take a look inside. There's not much to it. This is the packaging. This is how you receive it when you order it. It does have a cap. I love heart-shaped anything, right? Anything heart-shaped is fun. And so I've already opened it, and I have some of my Clover pins already on it. These are the heart-shaped pins. This caddy has this indentation. Do you see that indentation there? That allows you to pick up the pins. Your fingers can fit in to pick up the pins. Now I'm going to drop these down on the table, and voila. Isn't that great? Look how they all lined up. Did you see that? I did not know that it would do that. Okay, I'm going to do this again just in case you missed it. So Gidget says, I only have one and it's my favorite, the seam ripper. Okay, well, I can't wait to share with you the others. Okay, watch this again. How many of us have dropped our pins on the floor, right? I'm going to do that and watch what happens. They line up like soldiers. Look at that. Is that amazing? I didn't know that it would do that. All right. Are you paying attention? Did you see that? That's fantastic. They lined up just like little soldiers, one right after the other. That's pretty neat, isn't it? You don't have to spend time trying to put it on orderly. It does it for you automatically. All lined up. This is the Clover magnetic pin caddy heart-shaped. Then you just put the cap on and it snaps in place. Easy. Also notice that it's open right here and right here so that you can grip it on this side to pull the cap off. Not hard, right? I love that. Not your favorite. Okay, yeah, the seam ripper is not our favorite. We don't want to have to use a seam ripper, right? Okay, on the Amazon channel, our next item is the super size 5-in-1 sliding gauge. 5-in-1 means it does multiple things. This is how you receive it when you order it. Always read the instructions. It tells you right here in the front the different things that it will do. It has some photos, and then on this side, you have some instructions. Let's take a look inside. Now, this is the super size. So it goes from, let's see, and I did bring my glasses. I had to hunt them down at the last minute. So here we go. There is a lot of information packed into this 5-in-1 supersize gauge. On this side, the inches, the measurements go from 1 all the way up to 11. Then on this side, it's 1 all the way down to 11. So the measurements start 1 from here and 1 from here. This part and this part, these are each a 1/4 inch. And the space in the middle is 1/8 of an inch. And you can see that right here in this writing. Can you see that? Let me get in there real close. Hopefully you can see it. I'm not sure if you can. But trust me, it tells you 1/8 of an inch in the well, and each of these are a 1/4 inch. So that is good for checking measurements. How does this slide work? See that word? Push. We're going to push that and it clicks right into place. It snaps in place. Can you see those grooves? Those grooves are where this will slide into place. Are you wondering where the measurements are? Okay, I don't even need those for reading. You are going to measure from this edge to this edge to get your distance. So this is a 1-inch grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to press this and line this up on number 4 and lock it in place. Let's see, did I do it correctly? Here it is. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's lined up from this edge to that edge, 4 inches. So you're measuring from this top to this top. Isn't that easy? Just push that in and it locks in place. Oh, you like it, Gidget? Yes, I like it too. It slides very easily. You know what else this will do? It will help you with your seam allowances in terms of checking with the 1/4 inch. You can use this for measuring a hem on a piece of fabric. I have a piece of fabric here. If I wanted to create a hem on this side, fold that over. I can easily put the gauge in here to check. Another tip, perhaps you're a garment maker and you're going to put some buttons in, or maybe you're making a decorative pillow. You're going to use this to mark your pillow, your buttonholes. Sometimes I use buttons to close my pillows, and then sometimes you can use this for not only buttonholes for pillows, but for garments. And you can consistently mark using this gauge, knowing what distance you want from the edge. That's another way to use the gauge. But here's another interesting part. This part right here, you can use this to pivot and make circles, draw circles. How would you do that? Right here at the top, there's a little hole. It's a little pinhole. It's large enough to stick a marking tool, a pen, inside. This side also has a hole, but you can use a pin or you can use your finger to hold it in place. If I wanted to make a 6-inch circle, now remember the number 1 is on this side, so I'm going to pull this down, right? Say an 8-inch circle. I'm going to put this here on number 4 where that pinhole is. Hold this in place. I'm going to put my pen right inside that hole. Where is it? Right there. It's by the number 4. And now I can draw a circle that's 8 inches. By holding this down in the center, putting my pen inside here, let me see that right there, and I can draw a circle that's 8 inches. You're always going to do half, so that's 4 inches. That will give you an 8-inch. You want a 10-inch circle, you move this hole up to the 5, and then you would get a 10-inch circle. It's so easy. I love that. This is an amazing tool that has multiple functions, easy to use, and the measurements are exactly where you need them. You have 1 inch to 11 on this side, 1 inch starting up here, down. You can make circles, lots to use with this. So what is next? What did you ladies think about this gauge? Isn't this nice to have? Do you think you would use something like this? Let me know in the chat what you think about the gauge. Is it something that you would use? The next one is one of my favorites. It is the hot ruler. Often when we are pressing and we need to press accurately for seam allowances or for making a hem, we want and need to use an iron to press a nice crease. And this is a ruler where you can put a hot iron right on top and it doesn't get too hot to touch. Some metal ones, if you put something hot on it, the metal gets hot. This does not. You can press on this, and then the surface of this, it's almost like felt, so the fabric doesn't shift as you're pressing. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Oh, you like it, Michelle? I'm so glad that you do. The measurements are easy to read. We have a 1/2 inch. Down here, maybe you can see it. It gives you a measurement right there. Again, I need my glasses. Getting old is not for wimps. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. All the measurements right there on the ruler. Then you have a 45-degree coming right out of the corner on both sides. How would you use this for pressing? How many of you ladies have ever made table napkins? Have you made table napkins? I like to make small napkins for travel. This is a small napkin that I took a fat quarter, cut it in half, and I can travel with this as a napkin, right? A cloth napkin. Easy to make 2 from 1 fat quarter. Look at the mitered corners on this. I did the seam allowance, the hem, and the mitered corners all with the hot ruler. And how do you do that? I'm just going to do it very quickly and show you how you can get a nice mitered corner. You're going to use the ruler to create the hem size that you want. You're going to take your iron and you're going to press. I like to press 1 inch Then fold it to the hot ruler to press it in half. And so I've done that on both sides. First, I press 1 full inch, then pressed it to the edge, which would be a half an inch. You do that on both sides. Now you have a double fold hem, right? Double fold, excuse me, no raw edges. And when you do that, you're going to get this nice mitered corner. And you can use this to help you get that exactly the way you need it. See how I'm folding it, and then you fold it again and you get a nice mitered corner. So quickly and easily with the hot ruler. All of this is done with pressing, and you're going to be able to do that very quickly. See how this goes in the corner, and this was like that. Fold that over, fold this way, and double fold, and you have a nice mitered corner, easily done with this hot ruler. I love tools like this. Tell me what you think. Is this something that you think you could use to help you press hems for garments, for any of your craft and sewing projects? I love tools that are going to help us not only make it easy for us, but make it fun to do. When we have a tool like this that works well with our project, it makes it fun to do. When it's difficult, then we have frustration. When it's easy, it's fun. And I think making these napkins can be a fun holiday project that you can make. When you have your family over for dinner, you have nice cloth napkins ready to go. So what do you think, ladies? Let me know if you have any questions about what we've seen so far. We've seen 3 items. We've seen the pin caddy. We've seen the pin caddy, where we can have an easy way to pick up those pens that often fall out of our hands. We've seen the hot ruler, where we can press hems and make mitered corners very easily. Hello, Miss Wright. How are you? You just used the hem ruler, all right, to hem jeans. Fantastic. Wonderful. And you would use it for bag making, says Gidget. Wonderful. That's a good tip, bag making. So craft and sewing. Do you see these as essential tools for your tool chest? I do. I know that I like to have tools that are my go-to tools to help me with multiple projects. So the same thing with the 5-in-1 sliding gauge. Multiple uses with this gauge. So the next item over there on Amazon, my Amazon friends, I haven't forgotten about you. We are going to the next item. How many of you ladies are quilters? Do you make quilts? Let us know in the chat, are you a quilt maker? What was the last quilt that you made? Was it a bed quilt? A baby quilt? Let us know, Gidget. What about you, Cindy? I know that you're here. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. When we make quilts, we have to put the quilt top together into a quilt sandwich. How do you do that? Do you use pins? How do you baste your quilt? We're going to look at these Clover Wonder Pins. Let's take a look with our overhead camera. So these are the Wonder Pins. And when you get it, there are 20 pins in the pack. And they are a little interesting. They're kind of unique. If you've ever pinned before, so Gidget said she's made a twin size quilt, Halloween quilt. Here they are. I have a quilt sandwich right here. I've already tested these out. Now, I have to confess, when I was a heavy pin user, I would have a quilt and it would have 20 plus pins. So I would need multiple packs of these. I would use, like, depending upon the size of the quilt, oh, Gidget, you have a long arm, so you're not going to use these kind of pins. But what about small projects? Do you put your small projects on a long arm, or do you do that on a smaller machine? I would need at least 5 packs of these. Sometimes with a large quilt, I was pinning up to 100 pins. I know that seems excessive, but that was a little while ago. That's what I used to do. So we have pink and yellow. Pink and yellow. These are the wonder pins. What is interesting about these, remember, pins that we use for basting are going to have a curve. Can you see that curve right there? That curve helps us to pin the 3 layers of the quilt sandwich together. There is a special cap right there. You can see that little elbow, that cap on this pin. And it has a valley in it. It's hard to see on camera, but trust me, there's a little valley in there, just the way you would see in a all metal pin, right? But what happens with this one is that when you push down on this peak, this part that's the peak, when you push down on it and move the pin left or right, it will open. It opens. This side that is wider on this end, where's my little wooden pointer? Okay, here we go. So this end is wider. So when you grab it with your fingers, it's easy to hold. When you hold it and apply pressure downward on that peak, this part here that's pointy right here, that peak, it releases the pin and you move forward and it will open. Now you're ready to pin baste. So you're going to do that, move it forward. Whoops. All right, and then bring the pin up. Once you see the pin up, you're going to push this down and again move left to right until it goes in. It takes a little practice. I did this a few times until I figured out how to do it effortlessly. Again, you're going to push in the pin, bring it up to the surface, and once it's up to the surface, you're going to push down forward and then shift the pin left and right. That's a little bit loose. Let me see if I can get tighter. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to zoom in. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Let me know if that's better. I'm going to try this one more time. So again, here is that little peak right there. I'm putting pressure on that peak. It's easier, I think, to see the pink one. There's the peak. And I'm going to apply pressure downward and then move left to right, and then the pin opens. Put the pin in through the fabric, up and over through the quilt sandwich. Once you see the pin come up, then you push forward and again shift left and right until the pin gets right into the groove. It's that easy. It's one of those techniques I think you have to do multiple times until you get the movement when you don't even think about it. I like to use pins mostly in strategic areas, like if I have a quilt that has a lot of bias edging, and I want to make sure that during the quilting process, the fabric doesn't shift. I want to make sure that the block is square when I'm pinning, and anything that has a bias edge is not going to shift during the quilting process. And so I will use pins specifically for that. So a very interesting technique to use these types of wonder pins instead of our traditional basting pins. Another option. All right, ladies, what else can we look at? What is the next thing on our list? And that is a white marking pen, a fine marking pen. How many marking pens, it's okay, you can confess, how many marking pens do you have in your tool chest? Marking pens come in all shapes and sizes, and they're used for different purposes, right? We have marking pens that are wash away, that are fine tip, that are iron away. We have marking pens that are used for stencils, marking pens that are used for all kinds of things. And it's nice to have the type that you need that's going to work well for what you're doing. And in my case, and then perhaps in yours, if you use quilt stencils. How many of you ladies use quilt stencils? Perhaps you want to mark something that you want to quilt. And in this case, I marked some hearts using this fine marking pen. It's a fine marking pen. Let's look at the tip. Here is the tip, a nice looking tip. You want one that is going to not only mark accurately, but also you want one that's going to be easily removed. And I noticed with this one, when I tested it, I marked and I didn't see it right away. But after a few minutes, it began to appear. So I'm going to mark these 3. And it's going to look faint, but give it a minute or two and it's going to start to appear slowly. It's not a heavy marking, which you don't want heavy. You just want enough to be able to see it, to quilt it. Do you see how it's starting to appear very gradually? Does it come in other colors? Alina, could you answer that question? I don't know. Alina's in the chat. Someone from Clover. I assume it's Alina from Clover. Does it come in other colors? You see how now it's stronger. It's getting darker with time. This one, you will remove it with an iron. See that little image of the iron? It's telling you to remove it with an iron. Isn't that interesting? You think that, well, it didn't mark because it's too faint. But you just wait, you give it time, and it will appear. That's a good question, Gidget. I don't know if it comes in other colors. Hopefully, a Clover will respond to that. So I just marked 2 more. The fine marking pen is only white, but we have alternative marking pens in different colors. Thank you, Clover, for answering the question. Awesome. So, have you noticed this has gotten darker as time has gone on? This one I just marked a few moments ago, and within a few minutes it's going to get darker. So that's something to be aware of with this marking pen. This is the white marking pen that you remove with an iron. And I think in the instructions, remember ladies, no matter what tool we get, we always want to read the instructions. The best way to get the most out of any tool is to read the instructions. When we read the instructions that the manufacturer has provided, they have tested their products and they know the things that are going to help it work the best way it can. So let's take a look. It says the white marking pen is recommended for marks on black and dark colors fabrics. The white marker disappears with the use of an iron or when it is washed. So either you wash it or you put a hot iron over it to remove. I like to use fine marking pens. Can you guess why I like to use fine marking pens whenever I can? Especially if I'm using it for quilting purposes, if I'm doing some free motion quilting. Hey, awesome. You're welcome, Gidget. You are welcome. So glad that it was helpful to know that there are other options. And, we have different ways of marking that works better for us depending upon the situation, right? We never know what we're going to need. See how it's gotten darker with time? So that's something to know. Hey, who is that? Uh-oh, we have a let me see if I can get rid of this. Report this person. Oh, Clover, thank you for deleting those messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you report it, remove. Oh, great. All right. What's next in our carousel on Amazon? Any questions over there on Amazon? Please let me know. I'm watching the chat. I know some of you are watching. Just let me know. I'm here to help. We are looking at how we can get those tried and true tools for our tool chest, the things that we can use over and over again to help us finish our projects, to do it with fun and ease, not with frustration. And so we have looked at six different tools last month. So if you missed that show, go back to the YouTube channel, Clover's, go watch that. It is available to watch. And then we're looking at 6 today. So it's once a month. We are coming live to share the different tools that you can put in your tool chest. In case you're wondering, here are the dates. It's October 12th. Next month it's going to be November 9th. We're going to be live both on Amazon and on the Clover YouTube channel. So mark your calendars. It's the same time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. West Coast Pacific Time. So we have one more tool to go over to take a look at. And it's our favorite tool, at least not according to Gidget. It's not our favorite tool. It's a seam ripper. Yeah, a seam ripper. But this one is unique. This is Clover's retractable seam ripper. As I looked at this and I considered what I would say and talk about, why would we want this in our tool chest? Now, by the way, these were all sent to me by Clover, and this is a sponsored show, but they have not influenced in any way the things that I say about the tools. I'm giving my honest opinion about the tools, and so I am going to show you the features and benefits as they describe, but also to share with you how I would use it and get the most out of it. I thought about this when I was teaching younger students how to sew. And I thought about some of the tools that we use that can be kind of dangerous if you're not careful. And so I thought this retractable seam ripper is fantastic for safety purposes for younger sewers. So if you are introducing a younger person to sewing, a retractable seam ripper is fantastic for that. Now, in order for it to stay in place, it does have to snap into place at the top. Once you push that, it snaps into place. And then a gentle tug will bring it and then pull it all the way down to lock it in place. So you push, just a gentle push, and it will release, and then a gentle push and it locks in place. So, do any of you teach younger students? Do you have family members that you're teaching? Let's see. All right. Hide. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that will fix. There we go. All right. For retreats. Yes, that's a good idea. Hello, Hazel. Welcome. So glad you're here. From the UK. How are you, Hazel? Welcome, welcome. All right. I think this is a neat idea. Safety. We always want to be safe in our sewing and our craft room. And having a retractable seam ripper, although we don't want to have to rip seams, but we know it's inevitable. We will, right? A retractable seam ripper is a nice safety uh, tool to have inside your tool chest. Okay, ladies, we have looked at all 6 of our Clover tools that we can add or already have in our tool chest. Which one do you think you want or have? Which ones do you have? Which ones do you think you might be interested in getting to add to your tool chest? Is it the magnetic pin caddy? What about the retractable seam ripper? The fine marking tool? What about the 5-in-1 super size sliding gauge? And then there is my favorite. Can I have a favorite? Can I have a favorite? I mean, I like them all, but my favorite is the hot ruler. Clover says all of them. You're biased, Alina. All of them. Yeah, I guess so. All of them. Now, if you are already thinking about those stocking stuffers or gifts for your other quilting friends, these are perfect for that. They are practical and fun gifts. And if you're just joining and you missed the demo on this one, oh my goodness, this was a surprise, this heart pin caddy. I'm going to highlight it one more time. I have some new viewers on Amazon, and I'm going to show you this pin caddy again. It's heart shaped, which is cute, right? We love it. It has this nice little indentation so you can pick up the pins. Now, we drop the pins. They're scattered everywhere. You just turn the heart over on the magnetic side and they line up like little good soldiers. Look at that. I love it. I couldn't resist. I had to do it one more time. Is that okay, Alina? All right. Well, this is our time. We've gone through our tool chest products, our tools today on our Clover tools today. Let us know if you have a particular interest in a Clover tool. Let us know in the chat if there's a tool you want us to feature or you would like to know more about. Clover wants to help you be successful with your projects. And they have created a number of tools to help us who are crafters, sewers, makers. Hello, you're welcome, Michelle. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. All right, have a good day. Thank you for being here. We are going to be back next month with another 6 tools to add to our tool chest. I am going to close out this part of the show here on Clover's YouTube channel, but I will remain on Amazon. I have some other tools that I'd like to share with my Amazon audience. So thank you, Clover, for sponsoring this tool chest for the month of October. We will be back for another 6 amazing tools by Clover. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter, and it was my pleasure to be with you today to share these tools with you. I hope you add some of these, if not all, to your tool chest. My Amazon friends, don't go away. I'll be right back.